The group text arrived on Tuesday. Seating finalized. Charlotte, you're at the service staff table near the kitchen. Makes sense since you're single and someone needs to coordinate with catering. My mother called an hour later. It's practical, Charlotte. You're organized and the main tables are for couples and families. You'd feel awkward sitting alone. I'm Christopher's sister. And you'll still be at the wedding. Victoria's mother requested someone reliable near catering. We thought of you immediately. Christopher was marrying Victoria Ashford-Kent, whose family moved in circles that included minor aristocracy and old money. The wedding had been planned for 14 months, every detail calibrated to impress. I didn't fit their narrative. Charlotte works in communications, my mother had explained at the engagement party, making my career sound vague. Something with public relations. What I actually did was serve as chief communications strategist for the Duchess of Rothwell. For 3 years I'd managed the Duchess's global humanitarian initiatives, coordinated with world leaders, and advised on policy affecting millions. The position required absolute discretion. My family knew I worked in communications and traveled for work. They decided this made me unsuccessful and unsuitable for Christopher's society wedding. Who would she talk to at the main tables? Victoria had said at the bridal shower. She doesn't run in our circles. Better to put her somewhere she won't feel out of place. With the catering staff. I hadn't corrected them. The Duchess's work required confidentiality, and my family's opinion had stopped mattering when they decided I was the disappointing child to be managed and hidden. The wedding morning my mother handed me a black dress. For the catering area. You'll blend in. And Charlotte? Don't draw attention. Victoria's family has important guests. We need everything perfect. Perfect meant invisible. The wedding was held at Ashford Manor, Victoria's family estate. 300 guests. String quartet. Elaborate florals costing more than most annual salaries. I found my seat. A folding table between the kitchen doors and the service station. No number, no centerpiece, just a place card reading Charlotte, in smaller letters than the guest tables. The catering manager approached, confused. Are you with our staff? I'm the groom's sister. Apparently here to coordinate if issues arise. Her expression flickered with pity. I see. We're quite experienced, but let us know if you need anything. The ceremony was beautiful. Christopher looked happy. Victoria looked perfect. My parents sat front row, beaming at their son marrying into prominence. I sat fifth row, wedged between distant cousins and someone's elderly aunt. The reception began with cocktails while the ballroom was prepared. I stood near the catering tent as instructed, ready to help. None was needed. I was simply there to be nearby but not visible. Guests filtered in for dinner. I watched them find elegant place cards, elaborate centerpieces, perfect positioning. I slipped into my spot by the kitchen after most were seated. A kind server brought me food served like staff rather than family. The toasts began. Best man recounted Christopher's Cambridge rowing achievements. Maid of honor emphasized Victoria's boarding school connections and impeccable breeding. My father stood next. He discussed Christopher's accomplishments, excellent judgment, strategic life choices. Christopher has always understood the importance of association. He's built a life of substance and connected himself to people who matter. One child had succeeded. The other had not. Victoria's father welcomed Christopher, discussing legacy, tradition, and maintaining standards across generations. No one mentioned me. I was invisible by design behind kitchen doors while my family celebrated. My phone vibrated. Text from the Duchess's secretary. Her Grace is running late but will arrive before evening reception. Diplomatic matter with foreign secretary took longer than expected. She wants to personally congratulate the bride's family. My stomach dropped. I'd assumed the Duchess wouldn't attend. She rarely accepted social invitations. But she was coming. To a wedding where I was seated with catering staff. Where my family had no idea I worked for her. Where my professional discretion was about to collide with my family's social ambitions. The evening reception began. Dancing. Networking. I remained in my corner watching from behind the service station. Then the doors opened. A security detail entered first. Subtle but unmistakable. The room's energy shifted. The Duchess of Rothwell entered in midnight blue 72 and silver-haired, with natural authority that commanded immediate attention. Victoria's mother rushed forward with other guests eager to welcome such a distinguished visitor. The Duchess greeted them graciously, apologizing for her late arrival. Then her eyes scanned the ballroom, searching. They found me behind the service station, and her expression transformed to genuine concern mixed with anger. She excused herself and walked directly toward my corner. The crowd parted, conversations stopping as 300 guests watched the Duchess head toward the kitchen area. "Charlotte," the Duchess said, her voice carrying warmth and steel-edged authority. "There you are. I've been looking for you." Every eye fixed on my corner. My family looked confused. Victoria went pale. Christopher froze. The Duchess looked at my positioning. The folding table, kitchen doors, the spot designed to hide me. Her expression hardened. "Why," she asked with dangerous calm, "is my chief communications strategist seated in the kitchen service area?" Absolute silence. "Your Grace," I began, "there was a seating arrangement." "I can see the arrangement." She turned to address the room, her voice carrying without rising. "For those unaware, Charlotte Ashford has served as my chief communications strategist for 3 years. She coordinates the Rothwell Foundation's global humanitarian initiatives, manages relationships with international organizations, and advises me personally on policy affecting millions across 4 continents." My mother's champagne glass shattered on the marble floor. My father turned white. Christopher looked stricken. The Duchess continued, clearly displeased. "Charlotte has drafted policy statements for the United Nations, negotiated with government ministers from 12 countries, and coordinated emergency relief in 7 crisis zones. Her work on our Syrian refugee initiative secured housing for 15,000 displaced families." She looked directly at Victoria's parents. "Last month, Charlotte accompanied me to dinner with the Prime Minister at Chequers to discuss education policy reform. Her strategic recommendations shaped the framework currently being implemented nationwide." Victoria's mother clutched a chair for support. "Charlotte's professional discretion is absolute," the Duchess said. "She never discusses her work, never seeks recognition, and maintains confidentiality exceeding most diplomats. Which is why I assume her family has no idea what she actually does or the level at which she operates." He turned back to me. "But I must ask, why are you positioned with the catering staff at your own brother's wedding?" The question hung sharp in the air. "The seating was arranged according to family priorities, Your Grace. I wasn't considered important enough for the main tables." The Duchess's eyes flashed. "Not important enough." She faced my parents, voice dropping to the tone she used with incompetent ministers. "Your daughter coordinates humanitarian work affecting millions, advises on international policy at the highest government levels, and has direct access to the most powerful figures in the Commonwealth. And you seated her with the kitchen staff." My father tried to speak. "We didn't know," she never said. "She maintains professional confidentiality as required," the Duchess interrupted. "But surely you asked about her work? Showed interest in her career? Or did you simply decide she was unsuccessful because her achievements didn't fit your understanding of importance?" No one answered. The Duchess took my hand. "Come, you'll sit at my table." I was placed near the head table. Apparently my late arrival warranted prominent positioning. Her tone made clear what she thought of that. "You'll join me where you belong." "Your Grace, I don't want to cause a scene." "The scene was caused when they put you in the kitchen. I'm simply correcting an egregious error in judgment." She guided me toward the front, past my stunned family, past shocked guests who'd just learned the woman hidden behind the service station was the Duchess's most trusted advisor. The photographer scrambled to capture it, the Duchess personally escorting the forgotten sister to honor. We sat at her table with a junior minister, 2 MPs and Lord Pemberton. They looked unsurprised to see me. "Good to see you, Charlotte," Lord Pemberton said warmly. "Excellent work on the refugee housing briefing." The Duchess turned to me. "I'm sorry for the disruption, but I won't stand by while someone I respect is treated disgracefully by her own family." Despite everything, I smiled. Christopher approached Victoria, trailing, both devastated. "Charlotte, I'm so sorry. We had no idea you worked for the Duchess." "I maintain confidentiality as required. But we're family. You could have told us." "Could I? When Mother introduced me as doing something with public relations." When Victoria said I didn't run in your circles. When you seated me with catering staff. Victoria's makeup was ruined by tears. If we'd known you worked for the Duchess, the seating would have been completely different. That's the problem, the Duchess interjected coolly. Your respect was conditional on status you could recognize. Charlotte's worth as Christopher's sister should have been sufficient. My parents appeared, my mother's face blotchy. Charlotte, we made a terrible mistake. We didn't understand your work was so important. My work was always important. You decided it didn't matter because I wasn't married or producing achievements you could brag about. We'll make an announcement, explain your position. Everyone already knows, the minister said dryly. It's trending on social media. The optics are spectacular. The Duchess stood. Charlotte, I have an early meeting with the education secretary. Would you join me for the drive to London? We can review briefing materials. A rescue elegantly offered. Of course, Your Grace. I collected my clutch from the folding table and walked out with the Duchess, security clearing a path through stunned guests frantically pulling out phones. Behind us, conversations exploded. Guests Googling my name. Victoria's mother asking for explanations. Christopher trying to salvage dignity from complete social catastrophe. In the Bentley, the Duchess patted my hand. Your family will learn that true importance isn't always visible, and respect shouldn't require titles. Thank you for coming, Your Grace. I wouldn't have missed it. She smiled. Though I hope Victoria enjoys explaining why she seated the Duchess of Rothwell's chief strategist in the kitchen. That story will circulate for years. My phone buzzed with desperate apologies. I silenced them all. Christopher's wedding would be remembered as the event where the family failure was revealed as the Duchess's most trusted advisor. Where the sister hidden with staff-coordinated humanitarian work affecting millions. Where everyone learned the unimportant woman was more influential than anyone else there. I leaned back watching London approach. To secret achievements. To professional discretion. To the Duchess personally collecting her strategist from the kitchen. And to the look on Victoria's face when she realized the woman who doesn't run in our circles, ran in circles they'd never access. Some positions don't need prominent seating. They announce themselves when a Duchess stops a reception to ask why her chief strategist is serving drinks. The social hierarchy had found its new throne.